All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how you do lesson 11.01b, independent practice, which basically what we're going to do here is we're going to use Pythagoras theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And that formula is going to help us find a side that is missing in a right triangle. Okay, so that's one of the benefits of this formula, that you can use it to help you find a missing side of a right triangle. Now, I'm not going to show you how because this is algebra. This is pre-algebra. This class is pre-algebra, but the way the formula comes out is using algebra. I can take this formula here, and depending on the side that is missing, I can rewrite it using algebra, something you're going to do next year. You can rewrite it like one of these three formulas down here. So these three formulas you see down here, it came from a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And using a little bit of algebra, I rewrote the Pythagoras formula like these three ways. Now, you use the first formula here if side C is missing. You see that it says C equal. That means you do not know the C, okay? You use the second formula here if side A is missing. That's what it says, A equal, okay? And you use the last one here if side B is missing, okay? Remember that A and B are the legs and C is the hypotenuse. C is always the longest side. A and B are the shortest sides, okay? And what I did is I took these three formulas. This lesson, you can do it with a calculator, okay? I took these three formulas and I wrote it in the calculator. See, I put it here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to replace the letters that I know, the sides that I know, okay? I'm going to replace it in the formula. I'm going to choose one of these formulas depending on which side is missing. That's what I'm going to show you next, okay? So just keep in mind that these three formulas came from Pythagoras. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And using a little bit of algebra, I rewrote that formula like these three ways. Why we have three? Because sometimes you're missing side C, some other times you're missing side A, and some other times you're going to be missing side B. All right, let's do the first problem here. Okay, look at this problem, question number 1. If you look at the problem, you can see that I'm missing the longest side. They gave me these two that are the shortest, and I'm missing the longest. The longest side is always looking at the corner C, or the right angle. They didn't put it here, but there's a right angle right there. Okay, so taking my calculator, since I'm missing side C, I'm going to use the first one. A is going to be the smallest size. I'm going to change A for 21. And B is the second smallest size, so that's going to be 72. And you can see that my answer is 75. Okay, so let me put 75 here. Oops, I didn't want to put it there. I want to put it here. 75. And I'm going to check my answer. Okay, and you can see I got it correct. All right, let's go problem number 2. Same idea. Let me bring back the calculator. Let me take off the numbers I put in there. Remember, you're using one of these three formulas to find the missing side. So if you look at this problem here, I'm missing the bottom side. See? And this bottom side is looking at corner A. See, the bottom side is looking at corner A. That means this side is A, is missing. So that means I'm going to use this second formula right here. Okay. Now remember, the biggest number belongs to C. So I'm going to replace the C here with 34. And the other side that I have is B, because I told you the bottom side is A. How do I know it's A? Because it's looking at corner A. That's why. Okay, so B here is going to be 16. And you can see I got square root of 30. I'm sorry, 30. Okay, so that's how much is this side, 30. All right, and I'm gonna check my answer. You can see I got it right. Okay, now I'm gonna do problem number 3. Okay, and in problem number 3, there's something interesting they gave you here. They told you to find the exact measure. Okay, so let me tell you what exactly that means. First, let's find out which side I'm missing. You can see I'm missing this side. This side is looking at corner C. So that means this side is the longest side, is the hypotenuse. Remember that, I don't know, you don't see it, but there's a right angle right here. Okay, because they told you it's a right triangle. Since we already know it's a right triangle, that means corner C is 90 degrees. So I'm gonna go to my calculator. Okay, I didn't delete the numbers before. Let me take them out. And I need to figure out which of these 3 formulas I need to use. Since I'm missing C, I'm using the first one. That means that A and B are those 2 numbers you see there. A, usually I gave it to the smallest number, so 30. And B, the second smallest, so 35. Now, you can see here, I got a long decimal. But the instruction says, find the exact measure. And what exactly that means, that you cannot type this decimal in your answer box. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna do the following, okay? What you're gonna do is you're gonna just do in the calculator what is inside the square root. And you can see it got 2125, 30 squared plus 35 squared is 2,125. And that answer, I'm gonna keep it inside the square root. Okay, let me move this out of the way. Let me make this smaller. I'm gonna write, I'm gonna keep my answer, I'm gonna keep the 2,125. I'm gonna keep it inside the square root. You can see I got the same answer here in the calculator, but when I write it here in Canvas, I want you to write this answer. And that's what I did right there. Okay, you can see I got it right. So what I'm trying to tell you is when they say find the exact measure, do not write a decimal. Okay, what you do is work what in the calculator, work what is inside the square root. We call this symbol square root. And whatever answer you get, when you type your answer in here, keep the square root symbol with what you got inside the square root. Okay, that's what it means, the exact answer. Let's go to the next page. All right, here is problem number 4. Okay, same thing again. Look at the triangle, but look what it says down here. Find the exact measure of the third side. So first, let's figure out which side I'm missing. You can see this side, there has no measurement. There's no number. This side, okay, is looking at angle B. So the side that I'm missing is B. So that means I'm using this formula, okay? So remember that the biggest number is C. So I'm going to replace the C here with 125. I'm going to replace the A. I think I made a mistake here. It should say A. And I'm going to replace the A with 55. Okay. And again, when you get a long decimal, you're not going to type that decimal in your answer box. What you're going to do, like I told you in the previous problem, just work what is inside the square root. You can see I'm doing copy and paste. You can see I got 12,600. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that answer and I'm going to write the answer 12,600 with the square root on top of it. And that's what you see that I did there. That's what it means, the exact measure. Okay, do not type decimals. All right, that's the whole idea. of exact measure. Let's do problem number 5. Okay, here we go again. Now here they ask you to find, oh, by the way, let me clean my calculator again. And this should be letter A. That's the correct formula. And this here could be C. There. I have my 3 formulas again. I need to figure out which of these 3 formulas will help me find the missing side in question number 5. You can see the side that I'm missing is this one. This one is looking at C. So that means the side that I'm missing is C. So, and remember, this is a right triangle. That means that corner C is 90 degrees. So C is the hypotenuse, the longest side. So I'm using the first formula here. Okay. So that means A, I usually give A the smallest number, in this case 54, B 69. And here they told me that I can write my answer with a decimal because they told you round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, and basically that means that your answer should have 2 decimal places. Let me hit the calculator, enter here, so I get a new line. Okay, so they are asking me that my answer has 2 numbers to the right of the decimal point, but you're rounding. Remember, follow the rounding rules that you learn in elementary school. Okay, I'm rounding where the 1 is, because to the right of the 1 I have an 8, and that number is 5 or more. It means the 1 that I highlighted is going to become a 2. So my final answer here is going to be 87.62. Okay, and that will be my answer here. Okay, now if you have a lot of trouble with rounding, in Canvas you can leave it as an exact answer. That's what I did here. Okay, you can see that I kept it as square root of 7,677. How did I get that in the calculator? Like I told you before. Okay, so I will take what is inside the square root. There we go. And the answer, I keep the square root symbol over 7,677. That's what I did here. So you can round like I did here in the calculator and type in here 87.62. You're going to get it right too. Or you can avoid the decimal and just write it with the square root symbol over the 7,677. Okay, let's go to the last problem. Let me reset all of this. And problem number 6, we're going to do the same thing. Okay, so let me get my calculator. I need to find the missing side. The missing side is this side. This side is looking at B. So that means I'm missing B. So I'm using this formula. Okay, remember the biggest numbers is always C. So I'm going to replace C with 68. And A, I'm going to replace it with 40. They ask you to round. Okay, so if I round my answer, you can see I got a long decimal. If I round my decimal, it's going to be 54.99. Or what you could do is just work inside the square root. See, I'm going to do copy paste. I got this answer, 3,024. And in here, I'm going to type, watch what I'm going to type, square root. You see what I did? Square root, and then I put inside 3024, and I should have no issues getting the correct answer. Okay, so you can see it was a long decimal, but all right, so I hope this helps. Okay.